Ready to roll?
5 o'clock sharp.
Got it. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. And we continue with the Kenny and JT show here at Cavs Media Day, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. Happy to be bringing you all the various guests, players, coaches, general managers, presidents of basketball operations, and we're thrilled to have with us the new head coach of the Cavaliers, Kenny Atkinson, joining us right now. Coach, good to see you. Welcome to Cleveland.
Oh, thank you. It's been a whirlwind, but really glad to be here. Looking forward to starting camp tomorrow.
Yeah, how about that? I mean, everything that's going on this offseason, right? You're coaching with Team France in the Olympics. Yeah. You get a call, hey, you want to be the head coach of the Cavs? Yeah, but you still have to do the Olympics. And now here we are going into camp. How did you deal with all of that?
You just go. You just kind of put your head down, like. Even my family is like, this is a little crazy, you know, because when I was in France, I think I went to Vegas once, I went to LA, and I came back to Cleveland for the draft. So I think I did three back and forth, but listen, this is just what we signed up for, right? As a coach,
right?
And I knew doing the France thing, like I was like, this is gonna be a kind of a toll on you in terms of travel, but listen, I don't regret. Obviously, silver medal, and then getting it worked out. Like I'm not sure this all happens if I'm sitting at home, right? Like, so
that talent in the Olympics. I mean, unlike the NBA, it seemed as though every team was basically an all-star game, though, right? Every team's got loaded with all-stars. And when you guys made it through to the championship game, I mean, you got to be looking at that going, man, this is the pinnacle, man. This is something else.
I can't tell you how many people texted me, after even when we played Canada. I think they had 11 NBA players,
right.
Shea and like Alexander Wall and Olynyk, like they're just loaded, and every game was like that. It was such even like Japan. Oh, there's Hachimura, like okay, we got to stop him. It was such a great for the NBA. Obviously great for the Olympics and all that.
It was exciting. Most of those games sometimes are boring as hell. Those games were good.
Yes, and I just compared a little like NCAA tournament, right? Every game's like an elimination game. The pressure is a lot, especially being the home country. That was a lot of pressure. But phenomenal experience.
All right, so one of the things we've heard is we brought Kenny Atkinson in to take this team to the next level and help develop Evan Mobley a little bit more offensively as well. So here's my question: with the experience in the Olympics and working with a 7-foot 4 or 5 wing player, right, in Wemby, can you take something from watching him play and use that in trying to develop Evan more, or is it unfair to put those two in the same sentence?
It's not a crazy reach. Obviously, they're two different players.
Right.
Wemby's 7'6", is it? Or whatever.
He keeps growing.
So, but I will say this, and I don't know if you guys have noticed in the league. Bigs have become playmakers, right? So you got Jokic, you got Sabonis, you got a lot of guys playmaking from that top position in the league, and usually the best offenses work through that system, and Wemby too. Wemby's kind of become that guy where they hit him as a trail, and now he becomes a playmaker. And my kind of philosophy on this or theory on this is Evan Mobley can be our playmaker. He can be one of these bigs that playmake from the top, but it also starts in transition with him, right? Like he's a good rebounder, rebound and push. That's kind of my message to him. You rebound. Sure, you got Donovan way up to give it to him.
Right.
Darius up there, give it to him. But we want you pushing the ball more in transition, and then in the half court, we want you handling more to make plays. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean like you're taking 80 shots a game. It's assists, it's DHO rolls. It's downhill attacks. It's off-ball screening because that trail guy you get to screen. So just making plays for yourself and for others. So I think that'll be a shift in maybe what you've seen in the past.
When you face this team, and the roster for the most part stayed the same, when you face them when you were at Golden State, was there ever a time when you said, if I had this team, I would do this? Or I could make that team into a more offensively focused juggernaut? I mean, is there something that went through your mind like that?
I think we always do that, right? When
Yeah.
you see another team or a young team that's coming up, you think, especially if I've been a head coach in this league and thinking, man, if I get another shot. So we would play teams and you'd be like, I wonder, if you could do this or wonder if you. So that's where it starts,
Okay.
and quite honestly, that helps in the interview process, right?
Sure.
Because I think Kobe, when you sit down and you come to Cleveland, hey, what's your plan? Well, I have thought about this.
Yeah.
Obviously, it becomes more intense as when the interview process actually starts. But it's a great point. Your ideas start to come in the beginning when you compete against a team.
Kenny Atkinson, our guest, the new head coach of the Cavaliers, was a head coach of the Nets, 16 through 20. Looking back on that, what did you learn in your first stint as a head coach in the NBA that you said to yourself, all right, I'm going to do this differently or better or whatever?
Yeah, I think this is like a fact. Like a coach, like the second time around, you're just better, right?
Right.
Which is okay. That's kind of normal. But so I've learned a lot. My journey since the Nets experience, obviously being with Ty Lue with the Clippers, where we went to the conference finals, and seeing how that looked with Kawhi and Paul George, and us playing small ball with Batum at the 5. So learned a lot from those. That experience and the playoff experience, then going to Steve Kerr and seeing how that worked, right? Two bigs, similar to the Cavs, right? Two big guys, and then the two guard lineup too with Clay and Steph, and also Jordan Poole was in the mix. So those experiences are invaluable, and that I said this before, but I was really strategic about seeking those experiences out to develop more as a coach. So I'm much more confident coming into this second stint. The first stint, quite honestly, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just kind of, and luckily we had a runway, right? Because we were so bad, you could make mistakes, no one cared. But this is kind of like perfect timing for me personally, coming off the Nets stint, and then my two assistant coach stints with elite teams. So it's kind of all coming together.
All right, one of the things a lot of us in the media who don't know as much as coaches and front office execs do, we say, can a small backcourt in DG and Donovan work? And we're still waiting to see if it can. So I'm curious, I don't want to call Golden State small because Clay's 6'6", I think, right? And Steph's like 6'3", 6'4".
But we played pool, and if you remember in the Celtics series, and I'm just going to cut you off because it's like what Kobe and Mike, what they and B. Weems have done is create a versatile roster.
Okay.
Because I just think in the playoffs you have to play a lot of different ways, right? And I know you guys have experience, even with LeBron, right? Sometimes let's play Moscow and Varejao together. Sometimes you got to separate them, right? You have to really be able to mix and match. So I just think having different ways you can play with a lot of talent around is huge because every series changes. But I don't see any reason why it can't work. And I wouldn't call Donovan small with someone told me the other day, 7-foot wingspan. Is that correct? Am I right about that?
Is it 7? Okay.
He's so
BJ's shaking his head. Yeah.
So 7-foot wingspan, and he's built like an NFL running back, right? Or fullback. We
can use a tight end. We have a football team here. We need a tight end.
No, who's at Harbaugh? He wants, he's the guy that he wants to play everybody at fullback. Right. We're going to introduce Donovan as our put him at fullback. But. So I think that's a little bit of a myth with him.
Okay.
I will say with Darius, and this happened with Steph Curry, Darius is a good defender. He's a smart defender. He's just got to get stronger.
Okay.
Because, you saw the Celtics series last year. They just, this league, it's a go through your chest league right now.
Yeah.
So Darius can be in perfect position, but they knock him. So his kind of next step is, and Steph took that next step. That was his evolution, getting stronger. And that was a big point of focus with Darius this summer, and it's going to continue as long as I'm here. It's an important piece.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
I read a quote, continuity is a coach's dream.
Yes.
Came from you, Kenny Atkinson. The continuity that is here. This team didn't lose anybody. They didn't necessarily add anybody, but they brought the whole core back, signed them for, long-term deals. If you can expound on the continuity that you get to deal with here in Cleveland.
Yeah, it is. Makes my job easier right off the bat, because even right now in our open gym, guys came in early, and I've been watching them play. They already have a lot of the chemistry's there, right? They're kind of like drawing plays up in the sand, like. So I'm learning from them, which is really good, to get that knowledge. I always say the best teams are player led, so we got that going, and now for me it's tweaks and pushes. It's not a revolution, right? It's not like, oh man, I'm coming here, we got to change everything. These are kind of minuscule changes, or tactical changes, maybe some rotation changes, but it's not a huge overhaul.
Yeah.
So that makes my job a lot easier. And listen, I'll just kind of defend Kobe and Mike. Like, everyone thinks, oh man, you got to make a change every year. Like, there's been teams in this league, they start to get close and they start screwing with things, and start making tweaks, and it can go the other way.
Well,
Right.
and that's,
Right, and
you have to
I can give you
Boston credit,
examples,
right?
but I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah,
Give Boston credit
Boston's
for keeping
a
it
great
together.
example,
right?
Denver's a great example.
Yep.
They were calling for, oh man, Denver's got to change.
Right.
Now they added some things early, and they just kept with it. They kept with it. I think of that Phoenix Suns team that was rolling, and they're confident, they're right there, and then all of a sudden they make some changes, and I think they end up bringing Shaq in. It's not, and all of a sudden it just goes south.
Yeah.
Right? Like so you have to, especially with a young team, right? This is a team where the average age is, it's not Golden State where you're 33, 34,
Right.
35.
Coach, what's the hardest thing? The matchups or the daily grind? Is it like
Daily grind.
okay?
I'm just like ready. This is like going in. I say you come back from an 82 season to change, man.
Yeah.
You come back changed.
But you didn't have any time off. You went straight to the Olympics.
So that's going to be that's part of my evolution as a coach. I think wherever I'm like, man, I have to take care of myself. I might not read a scouting report. I might not be, completely on it for the practice plan or the shoot-around plan for that morning. And that's where you got to rely on your staff, right?
Okay.
We got a huge staff, but taking care of yourself and your habits, your personal habits and hygiene is huge. If you get off track there, man, you can really go sideways in this league.
Kenny Atkinson, our guest, new head coach of your Cleveland Cavaliers Cavs Media Day. And Coach, another quote about making Donovan Mitchell better. Paraphrasing this quote, easier shots, more catch and shoot shots for Donovan. Is that part of that push in transition you were talking about, or is that in the half-court sets?
It starts in transition, and we've had these discussions, or it starts with him running without it.
Okay.
Not always waiting for it and waiting for the ball. He's got to be a run without it guy. Not all the time. We want to bring it up sometimes. Steph. So yes, can you? And now when you do that, now you're off the ball. Now you're playing off the catch instead of dribbling it 28 times up. And now I got to set a drag and a pick and roll and all that. And we want him to do that because he's good at that.
Right.
But there's got to be more variety, I think, to his offense. So you'll see him off ball more. You'll see him getting off ball screens in transition. You'll see him cutting more. Like I'm a big believer in cutting. I think the league has changed. It used to be a space, just sit out there in space. So, but you'll see more cutting. And then even with him, like I want to, our offensive rebounding's got to improve. The playoffs, they come down. It comes down to a possession game. And everybody's on each other's tactics, and what to run in, and can we get a little more, him and Evan and Max? Can we get in there and get a few more offensive rebounds to get more possessions?
I love hearing that because I call it the stanky leg offense, where it's just one position, pound, 7 on the shot clock. It's a 911 call, and somebody's got to hoist up a shot.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's not that. We really, and it's going to take time, right? Because there has. Hey, throw it to Donovan, throw it to Darius, make a play.
Right.
And there's like 8 seconds left on. We call them grenades in our lexicon. Like and it's like. No, we got to get to better actions earlier, and that's where we're going to have simpler kind of simple formation, many options. Get the trigger, get your advantage. Now we're playing off principles, and we're driving kick principles. And that's going to mean a little less pick and roll, quite honestly, for me. Like you're going to see more drive and kick and more off-ball screens, just more variety.
So it's basically a month and a half to implement those different tactics or whatever you want to call them. I'm not the basketball guy. That would be Kenny.
Yeah.
Not you, Kenny, this Kenny, or both you Kennys. But the thing is, I mean, we talk about other sports and we talk maybe about football or whatever. And normally, what type of a team you've got by about maybe the 4th or 5th week of the season.
Yeah.
We're implementing different sets on offense and maybe a new style offensively. How long do we think it should take before we see that on the court?
It's a great question. Doc Rivers tells a famous story when he was on Orlando, and he devised this incredible scheme. Offensive scheme. They're gonna do this new kind of system, and long story short, he scraps it 2 days before training camp. Then they end up having a great year, right? So I mean, it's great up on the whiteboard. It's like football, right? That's great, but I, and that's part of my was part of my push of getting guys in here earlier so I could get a better feel. But man, you got to be adaptable and flexible in this league. If you see it's not working, you got to be able to change quick. Hopefully, that's not the case.
Right.
We have a pretty good grip on where we can get better. But man, if it ain't working, you better be able to change quick.
Kenny, thanks for making the time on a busy day. A heck of a whirlwind tour for you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Cleveland. We look forward to seeing you throughout the year, and best of luck.
That was great. Nice to meet you guys. Look forward to chatting during the year.
That sounds great.
Right.
Kenny Atkinson, head coach of the Cavaliers.